tucked in the straddle Jaeger. Full twisting long swing. And the half turn to set up. A difficult dismount. Double front somersault half turn.
Judges only gave her 9.637 in the qualifying. Shannon Miller may be safe from one rival. Nothing more than either can do now.
This is club, post club, Andrea Molnar. This is a Hungarian federation.
Each finding something to occupy the mind, a little shift. Going to have to wait quite a long time for Dominic Dawes. And Lysenko hurries away. Can she not stand the tension? Couldn't really blame her if that was the case. Women's Championship has been going since 1934. It was won by Dekanova then, and in 1938, 9.725. It's not enough for Lysenko. She's in the silver medal position. But Shannon Miller of the United States is the world champion of 1993. Gina Gojan, proving much the stronger of the two Romanians, pushed her so close. Tatiana Lysenko in third place. Dominic Dawes in fourth after the fall on her second vault. Fabrichnova in fifth place. Little Galieva, who was asked to stand down, that allowing Tatiana Gutsu to win the Olympic title, at least to have the chance to do so, is in sixth.
The winner of the 1993 Women's World Gymnastics Championships with a score of 39.062 from USA, Shannon Miller.
The runner-up in Barcelona becomes the world champion in Birmingham.
With a score of 39.055
Shannon Miller
from
of
Romania,
the United States.
Gina Gojan. In third, with 39.011
Gina Gojan
from the Ukraine, Tatiana
in second place.
Lysenko.
And from the Ukraine,
We now
Tatiana
invite the
Lysenko
presentation party to give the gymnasts
in third place.
their warranted medals. Mr. Jim Barry, Senior Vice President of the FIG, will present the gold medal.
The gold medal
Miller,
awarded by Mr. Jim Barry, the Senior Vice President of the International Governing Body, to Shannon Miller at the end of a really super contest.
So a great competition, an exciting atmosphere. Shannon Miller winning by just 7/1000ths of a point. What a way to decide the World Championship. Neil Thomas in action tomorrow on the floor in the individual apparatus finals. It'll be on grandstand, but from us all in Birmingham, good night.
From Russia, in sixth, Rosalia.
For Milosevic and Brandt, the all-round competition yesterday, when she was a bit... That'll be the first of the 5 apparatus finals, which we will be seeing this afternoon on the concluding day of these World Championships. First apparatus final, Rustam Sharipov, Andrei Khan from Belarusia, like Sherbo. Balenki is back again, Huan Huangdong of China, Sergei Harkov back again, and Igor Korobchinsky, who looked a threat on the floor, although it proved not to be the case, with the mark that he was given is the last of the 8 on this piece of apparatus, the bars. If nobody qualified for 6, Karbanenko, who's amongst this group, this is his first, but he'll be on for the high bar as well. And just to remind you again, the qualification is, from the scores in the qualifying competition, to be among the top 24 for the all-round. So the gymnasts then are trying to get into final. Rustam Sharipov, who is going to be seen twice because he's replacing Valery Liukin on the high bar, which will disappoint some in the crowd. But an injury to Liukin means that we've seen the last of him.
Sharipov. Took by a few as an outside chance for the all-round medal. Mishap robbed him of that, but he's pretty good on parallel bars. Nice flowing combination. 2 front somersaults, sandwiching a Healy turn, the full spin on one arm. Good tight body line. And the dismount, scuffled backwards. While he was on the apparatus, it was pretty impressive. Great feeling of camaraderie between all these gymnasts. They all help each other. Pike front somersault. The Healy. This was the earlier combination that so impressed. And the second pike somersault. Healy, that full spin on one arm, very difficult to control that. Very often you can be offline and across the bars. Sets up from the handstand to prepare for the dismount. Enormous thrust from the bar, the double pike shape, and only the scuffle backwards will cost him.
A 21-year-old from the Ukraine, and Leonid Akayev in conversation there with the man who set the first score, Dmitry Karbanenko, and that is better from Rustam Sharipov, as expected, 9.45.
He can swing parallel bars, this young man. He's trying a new combination. There it goes, and it was successful. 3 Heelys, all from interesting positions. He'll be looking for a good dismount. But again, it wasn't as precise as it needed to be to break into the real high scores to challenge Sherbo. But his mastery of support and swing is evident here. Out onto one bar, turning back, and then into 2 full spins forward on one arm. Massive support strength and great confidence in swing. Looking at this, it's such a shame that the dismount didn't match the quality of his swings. That's a 1 1/4 Diamondov. Out onto one bar. Sets a good strong handstand. And the double pike slightly awry to rob him.
And it proved to be the difference, but he has his first medal from these championships, Igor Korobchinsky. Sherbo has another gold. Nice little embrace with Khan, who finishes in 5th place. And it's not quite as massive, the total of gold medals for Sherbo, as it was at the Barcelona Olympics, but it's certainly building. Another one here. Sherbo at 9.6, Korobchinsky 9.525, Belenki at 9.475 are the medalists at the end of the bars apparatus.
No stopping that man, is there? And we'll be back with gymnastics very shortly. But now...
Suddenly lifted their crowd by winning the high bar competition. Harkov to go second. I have a slight feeling that I said on the bars that he wouldn't be seen again. If I did say that, I apologize. Vitaly Sherbo in third place. Sharipov, Rustam Sharipov, has come in place of Valery Lyukin, who is injured. Marius German, the old campaigner. Korobczynski back, as is Karbonenko. And the Hungarian competitor will bring the championships to a close, Zoltan Supola. Here's the substitute, but a fine gymnast in his own right. Very disappointed not to make the all-round final, as the high bar provide some consolation. He's in place of Valery Lyukin.
And he's obviously taken a leaf out of Harkov's book, because he too is a specialist on releases. Two straddle Kachevs, a stoop Kachev, and the style so far is superior to that of Harkov. Oh, the triple, that stagger backwards. Harkov, I believe, still has the edge.
He weren't with us earlier in the week. This is the man who went through all the pieces, finished up on the floor. He just had to do a normal routine there to qualify for the all-round competition and made a mess of it. But that showed real style on the high bar.
The straddled Gaylord over the bar, the straddled somersault to catch. And winding up through the long swing into a series of 3 releases. See the precise adjustment of the shoulders, movement of the hips to create the rotation, shoulders well forward, heels well back, to set up swing for the second of those straddle catches. A change of shape, but the same skill. The wind-up with good leg style, the knees apart slightly for the triple back. But that will be expensive.
Markov might be feeling a little happier now that he's seen Sherbo score. Will he, when he sees Sharipov's, he will. 9.325. He's equal second with Sherbo. Harkov still leads at the halfway point of the high bar competition. Now Igor Korobczynski picked up a silver on the bars. Another expert on the high bar.
Lovely leg style. Very high in the stoop Kachev. Repeats it. Double twisting, double straight.
It's good to see him smile. He's often the most serious of the old Soviet Union team.
Yes, he is serious, but he's into the spirit of it. The marvellous atmosphere out there, carnival-like. The two Kachevs in the stoop position. He was third on high bar last year in Paris, the World Championships. The release and the regrasp. Good solid catch to keep the swing under control. Close to the bar, but high and difficult. The pace back.
No. Has to be satisfied with one medal from these championships. 5th place. 2 to go. Ahead of German and Supola. The championships come to an end with that victory by Sergei Harkov.
The end of a wonderful competition. Well, we're moving from this World Championships to the World Championship that's still very much in the swing up in Sheffield and will be for the next 2 weeks. We were with Jimmy White earlier and Joe.
To an artistic glorification of Soviet
governments determined to stop them flooding west.
W sumie właśnie ludzie ci traktują tą granicę jako taki przedsmak Europy, krawędź tej Europy i przyjeżdżając tu zobaczą, że mogą zobaczyć już te pełne sklepy, gdzie u nich praktycznie już nic nie ma. Troszkę tych innych ludzi, uśmiechniętych bardziej, normalnych, bez jakiejś tam pogoni za tym chlebem codziennym, więc dla nich naprawdę jest to jakiś już przedsmak, oczywiście w cudzysłowie, tej normalnej naszej Europy.
The border town of Przemyśl on the Polish side of the Medica Pass. East meets west in the confusion of the town bazaar. But this is a desperate place. Ukrainians, Russians and Belarusians are selling off family property. Others spend their last ruble or coupon on a stock of cheap Eastern goods. But it is a gateway to capitalism. The Poles pick up the bargains, the Easterners pick up hard cash. So how much money are you making here on the market?
Ну, если мы вдвоем, например, то у него там сумка у меня до 2 миллионов злотых.
I can't believe that. What are you selling?
Продаем детское, там, белье, ему, такие игрушки детские, все такое там.
For us in Germany, and you British, Poland is a poor country. But for these Ukrainians, it's rich Europe. At this market, they get their first piece of cake. And of course, they want more. The governments of Western Europe want Poland to stop them getting the whole cake, to use the old communist border apparatus to halt mass migration. The reason? For the Easterners, Poland is only the first stop along the way.
Więc może po kolei zacznę. Obywatele Rumunii i Bułgarii przyjeżdżają do Polski przeważnie w celach turystycznych. Niemniej jednak pozostaje u nas w Polsce, traktując nasz kraj jako etap przejściowy i chęć ucieczki na zachód, szczególnie do Niemiec.
Many don't make it. This young Ukrainian was caught crossing the German border.
А мы хотели машину купить, самоход.
Машину chcieliście kupić, tak? Chcieliście nielegalnie przekroczyć granicę, tak?
Jak? No как? Мы прошли через пункт.
Tak, через пунkt.
Нас пустил.
A dlaczego? Bo tutaj dali państwo, Niemcy dali wam
Нас
jedną wizę.
патруль пустил,
No
а
i-
потом догнали и выгнали.
No i dlaczego chcieliście uciekać, co?
Zurückgeschoben. He's already been expelled from Germany. And now he's been banned from Poland too. These people are desperate to go west. And desperation leads to corruption on both sides of the border. On the Ukrainian side, the Soviet system has gone, but not the old Soviet mentality. You have to film secretly here. The border guards take bribes.
Miałem parę różnych takich. Na przykład stanie w kolejce, prawda? W kolejce, która była zrobiona fikcyjnie, bo tutaj jest do granicy 3 km, szlaban w środku lasu, policja, ustawianie turystów w kolejce. Kto chciał bez kolejki jechać, zbieranie tam po 10, po $15. No ta cena w zależności jak komu się śpieszyło.
Rich pickings. The average wage in the Ukraine is just £5 a month. It's little better on the Polish side. The town of Przemyśl, Easterners on the so-called Street of Happiness. Many will stop to buy from these men. They'll become the friends who get anyone into Poland. What they are selling is their signature on a tourist invitation to visit Poland. It's the only official document Ukrainians need to cross the border. The cost? About £2. They can stay 30 days. Many will stay longer. It's become a thriving cottage industry. There's even a lawyer on hand to give the invitation the official seal. It's not against the law, it's just against the spirit of border control. Times are getting chaotic. Why don't you stop giving your signatures for these papers?
Ja sądzę, że tym ludziom na wschodzie coś się należy z drugiej strony. Coś się należy za te 50 czy 40 lat tego wszystkiego, co tutaj przeżyli i nie sądzę, żeby akurat można było z tego powodu mieć pretensje do tych ludzi, a z kolei uważać siebie za pokrzywdzonych tą sytuacją, która w tej chwili następuje.
There's been a castle in Przemyśl for nearly 1,000 years. It was built to defend the edge of the Polish Empire. Today, Western politicians want the town of Przemyśl and Poland to go on sentry duty once again. So what are Western politicians doing? Well, they are building a fortress. My country, Germany, already has new tough immigration laws like Britain. Next step, we want to give to our poor neighbors, for example, Poland, a little financial help, not too much, to encourage them to do the same. And in the end, we're going to have a strong wall around rich Europe for one purpose, to keep out the poor. But every day the train from the Ukraine pulls in and more Easterners pour out. Some will just trade. Some will outstay their welcome. Some will break for Germany or even beyond. And all of them will remind Poland that it is now a border zone, caught between East and West.
Express.
FC Ava of the Ukraine, wearing 220. Tribaldo of Italy, inside 2 minutes last season, but only one race this year, which he won in 2-4. One of the dangers too is Kovacs of Romania. Twice a European indoor champion and third in the World Championships in Tokyo in 1991. Stefani Sieva, 201 this year, runs in lane number 1, 159 last season. 800 meters, 2 laps of the track. The first bend run in lanes, and they break at the beginning of the back straight. There are 10 athletes in 9 lanes. Lane 2 is double banked with 2 Italians running in there. 800 meters then, 2 laps of the track. And the battle on for the breaking point. Naritinova, the world champion, is going very well indeed. Just making sure she gets space. And then inside, it's Afanasieva. But as they break across, Naritinova making absolutely sure, and Kovacs of Romania, 2 of the most experienced athletes in the field, and they're making sure of their position. Afanasieva now in 3rd place. And coming up fast on the outside, Diane Modal-Edwards of Great Britain. They settle down now and showed their experience there, the leading 4, because they made absolutely sure in a field of 10 that they'd got enough room to manoeuvre. Naritinova in front. 2-2-4 is Kovacs. Comparative failure in Olympic Games for her when she finished 6th in the final. Now pressing Naritinova as they come to the bell. 57.42 is very respectable. Still Kovacs, Naritinova. Diane Modal-Edwards is finding this very hard indeed. She's back in 5th place. Just lost her place temporarily, but battling hard with Afanasieva. .200 meters to go, and Kovacs has struck hard for home, testing the world champion Rutinova, and Yevseeva now in third place. Fourth is Afanasieva, and fifth Diana Edwards. But Kovacs has got right away from the rest. She really has destroyed them from 200 meters out. Rutinova really is heavy-limbed. And coming on the near side, Afanasieva. Well, Kovacs with it absolutely clear, 1:57.49. That is the fastest time in the world this year. And in second place, Afanasieva, and the world champion, Rutinova, faded right away. The result of the women's 800 meters, Kovacs, fastest time in the world this year, 1:57.48. Afanasieva in second place, another fast time. Yevseeva third, and Diane Murdell-Edwards again inside 2 minutes for the second time this year. Good running by her, 1:59.58.
Well, Linda Keogh certainly has the strength with the 800-meter runner she's been doing, but has she got the speed on the back of it? Carboni of Italy being overtaken now, and Devessart of France going well in lane 5. Zigalova still with a little bit of running to do, and Floria of Romania in the all-yellow. Right on the outside, Rucker of Germany's gone well at 200 meters, and Linda Keogh is still in there. Devessart of France attacking now onto Linda Keogh's shoulder. Devessart of France now, right on the inside. Ruzina of Russia now begins to come through in the later stages. Devessart in second place at the moment. And then in lane 3, Floria. And Linda Keogh fading in fourth place at the moment. So, Ruzina from Devessart. And Keogh, I think, just got third. And that was a marvellous finish for the young Briton who's come in as a late replacement. And that's 51.54 for that a winning time. And I tell you, Linda Keogh performed well. Sigh of relief. She certainly hasn't had the speed training that she would have had she been working for 400 meters as a specialist. But she had the strength. And watching her over 800 meters, she began to impress me there. And with the Achilles injuries, that can't have helped in this faster event. Well, interesting to see whether she comes back into the event now. On the inside, Floria in the yellow strip of Romania going well, Zigalova of the Ukraine. But this is where it all turned over, really. Devessart, a French woman, now overtaken by Ruzina, semi-finalist, the Russian champion, semi-finalist in the Olympic Games, right in lane 1. And Ruzina ran it very comfortably, didn't she, at this stage? Ruzina, Devessart, the French woman coming through. Then Floria being run down by Linda Keogh. Let's see whether she actually ran her down. We thought so the first time through. And Keogh very, very strong. Now, looks as though she did, doesn't it? Devessart is struggling at this stage. And Keogh, stride for stride, has got third. She's got third, and that's a marvellous run.
Linda Keogh coming back after injury. She's had Achilles tendon problems, but that's a good run, actually. She's moved up to 800 meters, but we're still not sure what's happened to Phyllis Smith. Anyway, we know what happened to David Brindley, and we can now, only 20 years ago, of age. Golovestov in second place, and the Frenchman finishes third. But here's the young man himself, David Brindley, with Brindley.
1986. Romanova of Russia, 1943. Fedyshina of the Ukraine, 1891. And Stephanie Storp, who was leading this competition for some time, pushed back into third, 1885. So Myrtle finishes in 8th place, confirmed her ranking. And that was because Mafis produced a throw of 16.89 in the final round, just to pip her for that 7th spot.
Gala to beat the Kenyans in the steeplechase, moving down in distance. Fuhlbrugger going to be a real problem. Very fast finisher indeed for Germany. Thibault of France, Glinker of Poland, Polkowski of the Ukraine, Kacho, the Olympic champion from Spain, Drohanovsky of Czechoslovakia, and Melnikov of Russia.
Including Firmin Kacho, the Olympic champion, who's rounding into very good form. There's Curtis. I think he was a bit nervous when we saw him yesterday, and he's actually drawn a very difficult field, and I think he's got a right to be nervous. I don't think he's in as good a form now as he was at the Olympic Games in Barcelona last year, when he marvelled and came through in 6th place in the 800 metres.
Well, he's decided he doesn't want to be a full-time athlete. He wants to be a doctor. He's got serious medical studies going on, working very, very hard indeed. And of course, combining that with training can be a problem. .1500 metres, 3 3/4 laps of the track. Usually these races are tactical. Curtis Robb goes off trying to control it from the front. The German Fulbrugger is right up there too. But the main danger, actually, in a tactical race could well be Cacho, who won the gold medal for Spain in a very, very slow 1500 metres in that Olympic final. But he showed them that suits him.
That's right. I think he was listening to you there, David, Firmin Kacho, because he saw Curtis Robb take the lead and he settled in right at the back. I think this is quite sensible tactics by Curtis Robb, because he feels as though he's not as sharp as he would like to be. And if it was a really slow race with a really fast last lap, I think Curtis might struggle a little. But he's put himself in 2nd place there now. He looks to be in a good position, and Firmin Kacho, the Olympic champion, is way off the pace, almost at the back, but he'll start his run now as they come up with a lap to complete the first lap.
Dranovsky of Czechoslovakia is the leader. Curtis Robb in 2nd place, 59.57. Well, by current world standards, modest.
By current world standards, that's pretty slow, but I think Curtis will be happy that it's under 60 seconds, because at least it's a respectable pace. I've seen some of these Europa Cup 1500 metre races where the first lap has taken about 70 seconds. So I think Curtis was wise there, putting himself in the position, moving on the outside, keeping himself right, and Cacho is now just behind Curtis Robb, and they're coming around into the straight with 2 laps to go, and I think Curtis has acquitted himself quite well, and he looks strong. He looks to be in a good position, but the sprinters, the kickers, Fulbrugger and Cacho are right behind, poised right behind him, and on the inside there, Lambruscini, who's probably going to run the steeplechase as well tomorrow.
Coming round to 800 metres. Still Dranovsky of Czechoslovakia, Curtis Robb of Great Britain. Fulbrugger of Germany. Cacho of Spain. 1:58.82. So they maintain in the pace fairly evenly.
I think most of the field will be pleased about that. Curtis Robb really is trying to keep himself in a good position on the outside, keep free from any trouble, and Lambruscini on the inside is trying to move through on the inside, which is going to be very difficult. He's got a bump there, and Cacho starting a run from behind. So Curtis Robb's in a good place, and let's see if the last 500 metres are to his liking. The field may not be, but let's see if the last 500 metres are.
Actually, the bumping there caused by the slowing of the pace. Dranovsky on the inside, Curtis Robb on the near side is Cacho of Spain. Behind them is Lambruscini, the Italian, and then Fulbrugger of Germany. Through the bell in about 2:43.85. Fairly slow, so it's going to be a sprinter's race. Curtis Robb holding on the outside there in the right position to attack, but has he got the finishing speed? Still Dranovsky. Curtis Robb on the outside, he's the first to go. Lambruscini of Italy on the inside, and Cacho, the Olympic champion, on Fulbrugger of Germany. Thibaut of France is fading slightly. And the Ukrainian coming through is Volovsky. Curtis Robb looking round for trouble, and there's plenty there. Lambruscini, the Italian, look for space on the inside, but sprinting away now is the Ukrainian, and he's gone right away from the rest. Cacho finishes 2nd. Thibaut of France came through very quickly, and Robb faded into about 5th place. The time, 3:37.50. Tremendous break from 400 metres. They ran the last lap at about 54.55.
Well, at that point there, Curtis Robb was in a good place. He made the first move down the back straight, and Bulkovsky, the Ukrainian, is way down now, but Curtis Robb has resisted the pressure from Lambruscini on the inside and Firmin Cacho on the outside of him. And there Fulbrugger looks to be ready to make a run. And then the Ukrainian comes, and he looks as though he was a surprise to everyone, but he looks as though he's starting to sprint like a true sprinter, like a 200-meter runner. Curtis Robb at that point looked as though he could have done well. He could have looked as though he could have hung on. But the first move he resisted, but then the next one came, and they're coming in waves, and they're really attacking. And I thought at that point that Cacho was going to run away from them like he did in the Olympic Games, but no, it wasn't to be. Curtis Robb on the inside still looks strong. He's holding Cacho, but then Cacho responds. And then coming from nowhere is the Frenchman Pascal Thibault, who's won this race before. And on the inside, Lambruschini has a battle with him. But what a finish and what a run by the Ukrainian.
So Bulkowski wins it. Curtis Robb goes back to about 5th place, and he's stopping on the line. He may well have lost that. It's very, very close indeed. Not including the 1,500 metres, the men's match position after 4 events: France 28, Great Britain 27, Russia 25, Italy 24, and Germany 23. Well, 5 points covering the top 5.
There's more athletics to come from Rome, and just to remind you, the tennis from here.
Race. And I think it would be to her advantage just to keep her position there, try and get into the lead, and try and keep a reasonable pace going. 1,200 metres there, another slow lap. That one was 71 seconds, and there's going to be a rush for the finish unless somebody starts to go early.
Well, part of France has taken on that lead. The Ukrainian Kazemskaya in 2nd place at the moment, then Alison Wyatt in 3rd, Keshev in 4th. The Italian on the outside, that's Brunet. Brunet 4th in the Anglo 3,000 metres recently, in which Kesheg was 3rd, beaten well by Sonia O'Sullivan and Yelena Romanova. So Kesheg, one of the favourites for this, but it will be an interesting race, that's for sure.
It's a good field, though. There are 4 athletes in this field, including Alison Wyatt, who are Olympic finalists: Brunet of Italy, Kopitova of Russia, and Kesheg of Romania. So it's a good class field, and it's quite a strong finish, because the pace, as I said earlier, is pretty pedestrian and nobody's done anything about it. I think on the back straight where they're running into the sun, the temperature is baking over there. When they get the little bit of respite when they come around this side into the shade, but actually overall these aren't good conditions for distance running, and I think Eamon Martin, who'll be on the warm-up track now getting ready for the 10,000 metres, won't actually be looking forward to that 10,000 metre race.
Well, they're allowing part of France to take the lead. The Algerian-born young woman was the French 3,000 metre champion just a few seasons ago. Also a useful 1,500 metre runner too, and being allowed to take on the pace by Kazemskaya, who's a Ukrainian with not too much form this season, unlike Kesheg, top ranked in the field incidentally, on paper that is, and 3rd on the world list behind O'Sullivan and Romanova. But Wyeth sitting in there, and a very sensible piece of running by the Briton at the moment, in 2nd place. And as Brendan Foster was saying earlier, she's an experienced athlete. She's never won the big one, but she's always been there, and she's so reliable.
She is a world-class distance runner, Alison, and I think in a race like this, I think she senses that if she can just keep a true run race going for the next couple of laps, she'll place higher than she would if it was a dash on the last lap. And I think Alison knows enough about international athletics nowadays, and she's doing exactly that. 2,000 metres in 6:05, so the second 1,000 metres was faster, and I think on cue Alison Wyeth went through 2,000 metres and decided that was long enough. 1,000 metres to go. She'll run training distances over 1,000 metres, so she knows exactly what kind of pressure to apply for the next 2.5 laps, and I think she's doing it sensibly and wisely, and beginning to string that field out. You can see, looking at her face though, she's a bit red in the face, and that tells you about the conditions down there, Stuart.
Yes, it does, and they're closing her down at the moment. And just look at Kopyatova, the Russian 4.86 on the outside, taking it on with just 2 laps to go in this 3,000 metres. Wyeth leads, Kopyatova in 2nd place, Kesheg in 3rd. In 4th place is Brunet, the Italian. Behind her is Kazemskaya of the Ukraine, then Brzezinski of Poland. That's how they are, and Alison Wyeth now beginning to open them out. She's now beginning to move them.
Well, Alison is running really sensibly now, running wisely. Like she decided that 1,000 metres to go, 2.5 laps to go, was going to be the time when she stretched them. And she's doing that. She looks strong. She looks to be in control, but they're ganging up behind her. They're being tested. That lap of 70 seconds was the fastest lap of the race so far, but it just has to be a little bit faster than that. Otherwise, Alison will find herself getting swallowed up on the last lap. because they're just getting an easier ride. It just needs that little bit more pressure from Alison Wyeth. As they come down, she'll see a lap to go, and she really has to start digging in now.
So, just over the 1 lap to go in this 3,000 metres. Wyeth 3.81 for Britain. 5.17. Margareta Keszek of Romania. She's been in the fast race in Hengelo and is very much on form. Brzezinski, the pole in the all red, and now it starts to warm up a little bit. And Wyeth still hanging on. This is going to be a very fast finishing race. Brzezinski's there, and so is Kopyatova. And Kopyatova looks dangerous in 4th place at the moment. Wyeth hanging on. Keszek in 2nd place. Brzezinski in 3rd. Kopyatova boxed in on the inside. And then there's the Finn Sandel making a late run. The Italian looks to be losing off the back of that pace, and Wyeth has run a superb race now. And Keszek's using her and waiting, but Wyeth has run the best possible race. Wyeth for Great Britain then. Keszek of Romania. Kopyatova of Russia in 3rd place, and Kopyatova's arms flailing at the moment, and Wyeth grimacing as Keszek comes onto her shoulder. And Keszek coming through. So is Kopyatova of Russia. Keszek and Kopyatova of Russia, and what a battle this is going to be, and Keszek's going to hold on. Keszek first, Kopyatova in 2nd place. Wyeth a super run in 3rd place. The Italian Brune in 4th. Good run by the Briton. The time unimportant, but good points. Romania, Kremlyova of Russia, Storchieva of Ukraine, and what you notice strange about that, no times, and surprisingly, no hand times were taken either, and that is extraordinary. So the women's 800 metres result, incomplete. There's the women's 400 metres result. Rosina, 51.54. Devissois of France, 51.92. A good run by Linda Keogh, coming in at the last minute at 52.14. In 3rd place. That was a fine run. Coming up now to the men's 1500 metres. Volkovsky of the Ukraine, 3:37.51. Kacho, the Olympic champion, 3:38.09. Thibault of France, 3:38.12. Curtis Robb, look, in 5th place, 3:38.56. Just run out of 4th place by Lamborghini of Italy. Have a look in a moment at the men's long jump. There we've got Fred Sal in 7th place. The competition won by Hernandez, but Paul Dickinson, a little news on that.
Well, I still don't believe that result is right. And according to the countback rules, the 2nd best jump will count in the event of a tie. And Evangelisti's 7.95 or thereabouts was far better than Hernandez's second best effort at about 7.70. So I think that result will have to be looked at with a bit of scrutiny. But Fred Sal, 1 place above his ranking, finishing in 7th place, 7.63 meters.
Well, there's the situation so far in this competition. In the men's competition, France, 35 points, 3 up on Great Britain, with Italy in 3rd, Russia 4th, Germany 5th, Spain, Ukraine, Poland, and the Czech Republic. Well, now to the women's 3,000 metres. It's the race you saw last. Keszek's time, 8:51.88. It was always going to be slow. Kopyatova of Russia, 8:52.27. And what a good run it was by Alison Wyeth of Great Britain, 8:52.98. Good lead, isn't it, at this stage of the competition, from Romania in 2nd and Great Britain in 3rd, 48 and 38 points respectively, from Germany, from the Ukraine, from France, from Poland, from Finland, and from Italy. Incidentally, before we get into the
disappointment, of course, for Steve Smith. In 6th position, 2:28, he cleared, but Artur Partika, certainly a good jumper, but really winning against the odds here today. 3 jumpers, in fact, going over 2:30. Chiquel of France is 2nd, 2:30, and Ferrari being literally lifted by the Italian crowd to equal his personal best in 3rd place.
Well. So Great Britain unofficially lying in 3rd place at the moment in that match. Poland on the inside, Great Britain in lane 2, Italy 3, Germany 4, Russia 5, Finland 6, Romania 7, Ukraine 8, and France right on the outside. The British team just Romania in 7, Ukraine in 8, right on the outside, France. The women's 4x100 meters relay. Well, the Italian athlete wasn't very happy then. Raised her hand and jogged away from the blocks. And the 9-lane track, of course, is a very long stagger. The 4 by 100 metres relay. Again, unsettled. I don't think it was a false start. So far, nobody's been penalised. Well, there was a false start right on the outside. Although, so far, the French team has not been penalised, but I think it will be, yes. Or Russia in 5, Finland in 6, Romania in 7, Ukraine in 8, France with 1 false start against them out of lane 9. Well, the third time they go away, and the Finn got a flying start. She's cut right back now on the Ukrainian. But right on the outside going well, the French athlete, Girard. But the second athlete there for the French went off far too early and had to dwell to get the baton. Great Britain just struggling a little bit at the moment. They've Kinch trying to close down. Hands on to Catherine Merrick. Right on the outside, the French in good form, and it's the the Russians rather, coming right through. They're the favourites. Wearing all sorts of different kit, but safely away with Valova, the 100-metre runner on the last leg, taking them well away. France in second place, Germany third, and the Ukraine in fourth place. Great Britain way back in about 6th or 7th place. The time 42.79, and that certainly will put Russia way, almost an assailable position after the first day in the women's events. Before this event, there were 10 points clear. They've got maximum points here, so I don't think they're going to be caught. Looking at Paula Thomas, just out of shot at the moment. She wasn't shot when I started that sentence, but disappeared. The French, though, had a really bad changeover there. The French are the outside, and at the moment the Russians have not made too much impression in spite of that bad French changeover, and that's not a good one. Look at the French there at the top of the shot. They must have been right on the limit. See no flags going up, but the Russians come well through. Great Britain way out of the picture. Catherine Merry for Great Britain on this leg. Third from the back. Hands on to Marcia Richardson. Safe, but not spectacular. And the Russians with Valova come storming home. The French, that's Perec on the last leg, the 400-metre world and Olympic champion. And in third place, Germany. Great Britain finish way back in 6th place. Our check on the men's 10,000-metre result. It is confirmed, by the way, that Eamon Martin, who didn't finish, has got a strain or damaged the arch of a foot. Pantel of France, 28.2.71. That is a fast time in these circumstances because the weather is very warm and very humid as well. Panetta in second place, Adan third. Well, now let's have a look at the shot.
In the final round of the shot put event, dramatic as well. Look at that, 13.99 in the first round, and Kravets has backed it up with some very solid jumping as well, but she still has that superb jump by Yolanda Chen to challenge at 14.34. Today, that might just be beyond her. Very long hop and rather a short sort of staccato step. I think like so many of these women athletes, not quite to grips with the technique of triple jumping. But no doubt about it, Inessa Kravets of the Ukraine is a superb athlete. She's jumped 7.37 in the long jump. Very graceful running stride. Just collapses a wee bit there. She's got very long, very lithe legs. She's not a power jumper. And in fact, there you go. You saw the result. That was her final jump of the competition. It was a foul. And we have to tell you that Inessa Kravets as a result of that, will now finish in third position because Helga Radke of Germany produced 14 meters and 5 centimeters in the last round to move into second behind Chen. Confirmation of the shot put that we were watching just a little while ago. Bagash of the Ukraine wins at 20 meters 15. Calsolio of Italy, 1979. Rather a surprise result for him, one of the best international results he's achieved. Palchikov of Russia producing that 1964 in the last round. And Paul Edwards beats a couple of good athletes, Martinez from Spain and Bude of France. 18 meters 16, he finishes, I beg his pardon, 18 meters and 33 in fact. And Paul Edwards will finish in 6th place.
Still to come on the discus. France and Italy tying with 54 points, but this is the unofficial score. Russia in 3rd place, Germany 4, and Great Britain back in 5th place, 14 points behind the leaders. But of course, with Eamon Martin being so handicapped in the 10,000 metres and having to drop out, valuable points lost there.
one more time. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Enjoy yourself while you're still in the mix. The years roll by as quickly as a wind. So enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. It's later. Thanks for watching the series. We'll see you next year. Bye-bye.
On 13.17 her best, coming to some sort of form at the moment, running in that lane 3. Away this time. Aghiopong got a very good start, and Azabina on the near side. Aghiopong going well on the far side is Sinilou of France. But look at this for Azabina. Azabina. And Aghiopong looking for second place. I think she got second from Sinilou, and that was a marvellous run. 12.64. And that's just outside the cup record for the favourite on paper, Azabina. But one must say, this young woman ran so well. She beat off a field that on paper should have been in front of her, at least some of them. Patswal, the German, best of 12.80. Look at Aghiopong, tall, rangy figure, in contrast to Azabina, the Russian champion, who's way out in front. Politica on the near side was running well. At this stage is where Sinilou, the French woman on the top of your picture, started to fade just a little bit. Aghiopong came through. The danger then was Politica on the near side from the Ukraine. Nastasi coming through very quickly now. Did Aghiopong beat off Politica? I think she did. Yes, she did. She got second.
So we move on now to the next men's track event, the final of the 800 metres. Yakovsky of Poland in 3, Bolkowski of Ukraine in 4, Gonzalez of Spain in 5, Hrek of Czechoslovakia in 6, Olenikov of Russia in 7, Tom McKean, the defending champion, in lane 8, 4 times the winner of this European Cup final, and Benvenuti of Italy right on the outside. Well, Tom McKean going for something unique in the European Cup finals, certainly in the track events, going for a 5th successive win. Tom comes into this off an injury, 1 or 2 problems. He's now 29. Had a pipe opener in Belfast last week. When we talked to him a couple of days ago, he was smiling and full of confidence. Cup races are often very tactical, as the 1500 metres was yesterday in the middle and long distance events. I've got in this Bolkowski, who produced a tremendous finish in the last lap, 53 to 54 seconds to win the 1500 metres. He was switched late by the Ukrainians into this. The 800 metres European Cup final. Piekowski of Poland and the All Reds gone off fast. Herald on the inside for Germany. McKean likes to control it from the front, but they may not want to let him do that. Herald going on, Diarra of France, Piekowski, and McKean comes across to do what he usually does best, a waiting race from the front. This is the way he's won this European Cup final 4 times previously, and the way he won the World Indoor Championship earlier this season. Racing at his own pace, trying to control it and to save enough for a kick off the last bend. Olenikov, right there, Benvenuti of Italy, Diarra of France. And the bell in 54.34. Still McKean, Great Britain leading. Olenikov, Russia in 2nd place. Benvenuti, the big threat for Italy, is 3rd. Improving on the outside is the Spaniard Gonzalez, then Piekowski. Herald now of Germany, who lost his place, and they're taking Tom McKean on early. They really are trying to stretch him. They know about the waiting game he plays, and McKean forced to accelerate hard from a long way out. He usually builds it up from this mark, 200 metres to go, but he had to go hard there